Imagine aroma from a sizzling hot dog mingling with the smoky scent of a kebab grill. The sound of a pretzel cart wheels rumbling against the pavement. That's New York for you.
Would you say that this food orchestra, this culinary melodrama, is the heart's beat of the city?
Absolutely, in every nook and corner of this city lies a nibble, a bite, or even a feast, bursting with a story.
That's fascinating. So New York's food isn't just about satiating your appetite. It's about celebrating a myriad of cultures, the diversity, isn't it?
Oh yes, every dish is a vibrant tapestry with threads of a million immigrant dreams.
I see behind every mouthful of pastrami from a deli or a bite of fresh bagel, there is a story, an experience, an emotion.
Every crunch of a slice of pizza, every slurp of a bowl of pho is a toast to the dreams and struggles of the people who brought these flavors to the city.
And as you savor every morsel of the famed New York cheesecake, I believe you're not just delighting in a dessert, but indulging in the spirit of this dynamic city.
Yes, whether it's from the high-end restaurants, the late-night food trucks, or the old man selling pretzels, every meal offers a taste of the heart that beats within each New Yorker. The essence of New York can be sampled in its significant dishes. Don't you think, Daniel?
Absolutely, Vivian. I mean, where would we be without the quintessential New York pizza?
Or the bagels. As a native New Yorker, I take my bagels and smear very seriously.
You're not the only one, and don't even get me started on the cheesecake.
New York's food is like a palimpsest. Layer upon layer of people and cultures have indelibly etched their flavors into the city's culinary canvas.
Do you think perhaps it's the immigrant influences that shaped these dishes?
Very likely. Take pizza, for example. It was the Italian immigrants who brought pizza to New York, and it evolved into the classic New York slice we know today.
I see. And what about the bagels and the New York cheesecake, Vivian?
Well, the classic doughy bagels with a lustrous smear came from the East European Jewish immigrants, and the creamy New York cheesecake, it's a mixture of Jewish and Italian influences. So, over time, these dishes have attained a distinct identity that is uniquely New York's. Just like the people who live here, wouldn't you agree, Daniel?
That's so fascinating. And it's not just about the food, right? It's about the people who make them, the people who eat them, and the stories they tell.
Exactly. Food is an inseparable part of New York's dynamic storyline. It's a city, after all, that evolves bite by bite, one dish at a time. Stepping into the bustling kitchens of the city's hidden gems, it's more than just the aroma of good food that grabs you. It's the pulsating energy of creation, don't you think, Daniel?
Absolutely, Vivian. It's like each dish carries its own unique narrative, each ingredient contributing to a greater story, each recipe an embodiment of a chapter in New York's culinary evolution.
Couldn't have painted a better picture. And you know what's interesting? It's not just about perfecting a recipe. It's about dissecting it, understanding it, and then reinventing it. And that's exactly what's led to evolution in our culinary panorama over time.
Sounds fascinating. How does this reinvention process typically go?
Well, the secret lies in the balance between preservation and innovation. On one hand, chefs honor the original recipes that capture the essence of traditional New York, the secret spice mix in a street vendor's lamb over rice, or the classic gravlax cured salmon on a Sunday bagel. On the other hand, they incorporate new techniques and ingredients to push boundaries and surprise our palates. Just like with Dominique Ansel, the creator of the cronut, who amplified a simple croissant to an unprecedented Epicurean experience.
I see, like a torch being passed from generation to generation, with each adding their own twist along the way to get to the iconic dishes we know today.
Exactly, the dishes we savor are not just a delicious bite, but a flavorful assemblage of this versatile city's Epicurean culture. Think about it, Daniel. There's a hidden narrative behind each hot dog, pretzel, or taco we find on the streets of New York.
Well, I never thought of it that way. Let's take the hot dogs, shall we?
Yes, hot dogs. Originating from German immigrants in the 19th century, it's become a quintessential part of the New York street food experience.
It's interesting to consider a simple snack as a reflection of historical migration. But what about the evolution? How has the humble hot dog changed over the centuries?
Good question, Daniel. Over the years, we've seen an array of variations to the traditional hot dog. Today, you'll find carts offering everything from the classic dirty water dog to gourmet versions with artisanal sausages and unique toppings.
Ah, I see. Shifting away from just the hot dogs, the food truck trend is something that's exploded in recent years. Any thoughts on their rise to fame?
Oh, absolutely. Food trucks across the city have been a huge hit, serving everything from Korean BBQ to Ethiopian injera, offering New Yorkers a tasty, quick, and affordable bite. Not to mention the endless innovation they deliver. The once simple taco truck is now an eclectic mix of globally infused flavors.
That's fascinating. It really goes on to show how food elevates beyond a mere necessity, becoming an expression of identity that's constantly evolving.
Exactly, Daniel. Every bite we take off the streets of New York is a testament to the city's diverse cultural fabric. It's the city's thriving culinary street scene that adds color and flavor to the hustle and bustle of the metropolis. And while we're on the topic, there's no discussion of New York's culinary scene without the people behind it. The bakers, chefs, vendors who add their spice, creativity, and heart to these dishes.
I imagine it's their own twists and interpretations that make these dishes so special.
Absolutely. Each individual plays a unique role in defining the city's culinary identity. Think about the bagel, Daniel.
The humble bagel? It's just a round piece of bread, right?
On the surface, yes. But delve a little deeper and you'll find there's so much more. The bagel's journey in New York began with Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe. Today, every bagel bakery has its unique variation. Some swear by the traditional New York water bagel, while others introduce flavors like cinnamon and raisin or everything bagels. Moreover, the process of hand-rolling and boiling the dough is an art in itself.
Wow, that's a whole new perspective. So it's safe to say each interpretation is a reflection of the personality infusing it, just like the city itself.
Exactly. It's the same with neighborhoods. In Chinatown, you have mooncakes during the Mid-Autumn Festival, lovingly crafted by generations of bakers adhering to age-old recipes. And in Little Italy, the smell of homemade pasta sauce fills the air. Each dish holds a story, a journey.
It's incredible to think that cuisine, much like the city, is ever-changing, ever-evolving.
Yes, our food choices are a dynamic narrative reflecting our cultural identity, traditions, and constant innovation. It's not just the food, it's the people behind the flavors that make the magic happen.
From high-end restaurateurs to street food vendors, right?
Absolutely. Each one has a story to tell, etched in the swirls of the food's flavor profile. For instance, take Maria, a tamale vendor in Queens.
Maria, do tell us more.
Maria immigrated from Puebla, Mexico about 2 decades ago. Missing her mother's homemade tamales, she started making and selling them from a cart. It was her way of bringing a slice of home to New York. Her tamales became an instant hit. Can you guess the secret ingredient, Daniel?
Would it be the traditional spices she uses?
Well, that too. But the actual secret ingredient is love. Maria pours her heart into every tamale she makes. She serves a piece of her culture with each bite. Her struggle to establish her business, her motivation to keep her country's tradition alive in an alien land, her success, all is simmered into those tamales. And her journey from a homesick immigrant to a local food hero is a testament to New York's incredible community. So New York's food tapestry wouldn't be as rich without the contributions of immigrants, right?
Certainly seems so, Vivian. From bagels to tamales, the city's food scene is a melting pot of cultures. As I understand, many immigrants bring their native food here, giving us a culinary map of the world.
That's true. But it's not just about the food they bring, Daniel. It's also about their journeys of weaving their flavors into the city's culinary fabric. Their struggle, adaptation, everything. Imagine, the magnificent array of cuisines we savor today is a product of countless trial and error moments in kitchens across the city.
A fascinating way to look at it. But Vivian, I'm curious, how do these journeys shape the New York's food scene?
Oh, these journeys play an instrumental role, Daniel. For instance, picture a Greek immigrant settling in Astoria. They open a small diner serving traditional Greek dishes. Over time, locally available ingredients fuse into their recipes, subtly altering the flavors. As New Yorkers sample this food, it spawns new tastes, influencing local palate. It's quite a cyclic process.
Just like Maria and her tamales.
Exactly, Daniel. But it's not an easy feat. Each immigrant's journey is studded with obstacles, language barriers, sourcing ingredients, unfamiliar laws, and even nostalgia for home. Yet they persevere because their food does not only feed the city, it nurtures a sense of belonging. It's this resilience that shapes the city's gastronomic identity. Every plate of food comes with a story, Daniel. It's these stories that make New York's food scene special.
Especially family-run restaurants, right, Vivian?
Absolutely. These small businesses are often the heart and soul of a neighborhood. They are more than just eateries. They are spots where communities gather, connect, and feel at ease. These places hold memories. They hold the history and the love of the locality.
So their food isn't just nourishing people physically, but emotionally as well?
Yes, Daniel. These are the places where home extends beyond our four walls. In a city like New York, teeming with people from all walks of life, these family-run restaurants provide a sense of familiarity and comfort.
But running these restaurants involve immense effort, right, Vivian?
Oh, it's much more than we see. From early morning deliveries to intricate prep tasks, from long hours in the hot kitchen to the final, beautifully plated dishes, everything requires dedication. Each day presents a new challenge, changing customer preferences, rising food costs, and stiff competition. It's a daunting, relentless job.
But they do it to feed the city. They do it to make people happy. Then it's not just a business for them, it's more than that.
Exactly, Daniel. It's their love, their passion for what they do, that continues to feed us, continues to sustain the spirit of the city. The city may hustle and bustle, but the warmth of these restaurants, the shared laughter over plates, the bonds formed around the table, hold us together. New York's culinary scene is not static. It's continually evolving. A significant contributor to this is the influx of different cuisines from around the world. So, Daniel, do you have any idea how these foreign cuisines found their home in the city?
I believe, initially these cuisines were confined to immigrant neighborhoods. However, over time, their popularity reached beyond these enclaves. But I'm not entirely sure, Vivian. Can you shed more light on this?
Sure, Daniel. In the early stages, these cuisines often dwell in specific ethnic neighborhoods, like Little Italy or Chinatown. However, as people from different backgrounds start to explore these areas, they discover these soulful dishes and spread the word. This process gets amplified during food festivals where people flock to try out these novel offerings.
Yes, those festivals do serve to open up culinary horizons. I remember how the Japanese ramen festival got everyone hooked onto the big bowls of rich broth with noodles.
Exactly. Such festivals play a crucial role. They are platforms where flavors from different countries converge and create a sensorial experience for festival goers. Having tasted these delightful dishes, many people become regular patrons, which ultimately leads to the migration of these cuisines into the mainstream dining scene. Some even spark new food trends.
That's fascinating, Vivian. The city truly is a melting pot on every level, including the taste buds.
You know, Daniel, I recently explored this interesting trend that combines two of New York's remarkable offerings: phenomenal food and unmissable Broadway shows.
Wow, now that sounds like something.
Specifically, I'm referring to the rise of themed cafes and restaurants. Imagine dining at a place inspired by your favorite Broadway show. These themed spots build an ambiance that recreates the mood of famous productions. Just think about it. Dining amidst the glitz and drama of Broadway in the heart of New York.
But isn't it more than just an interesting decor or a novel concept? How do these themed spaces manage to keep the essence of these grand Broadway shows alive?
Good question, Daniel. Each themed cafe in the city ensures they imitate their chosen show to perfection. These spaces are meticulously designed, keeping in mind the original sets, costumes, and backgrounds from the shows. But what's more interesting is how they incorporate the theme in their menu. For example, Waitress Pie Shop served menu items named after songs from their namesake show.
Fascinating. Aren't these themed restaurants also transforming the dining culture?
You're on point, Daniel. They have indeed transformed the New York dining scene by offering a prolonged Broadway experience that goes beyond the conventional pre-show meal. Instead, you dive into a multi-sensory dining experience that complements the show.
Never realized Broadway fanfare had permeated dining too.
Nor I until recently. But it totally makes sense. The concept is a testament to New York's love for theatrical performances and its affinity for the gastronomic arts. It's a natural marriage of two iconic New York City loves.
Vivian, have you noticed the rise of health cafes and juice bars popping up in nearly every corner of New York?
Absolutely. It seems like these health-focused establishments are becoming increasingly popular, especially among the younger generation.
Why do you think that is?
There's an evident shift towards sustainable eating, Daniel. People are becoming more conscious of what they put into their bodies and where it comes from. Health cafes and juice bars offer satisfying meals and drinks that are not only flavorful, but also made from local, sustainable, and healthy ingredients.
On that note, food miles seems to be a term getting a lot of attention recently. Could you help us understand it better?
Sure, Daniel. It's quite an interesting concept. Food miles refer to the distance food travels from the place of its production until it reaches the consumer. The lower the food miles, the fewer the negative environmental impacts, like greenhouse gas emissions. So, there's this cautious cognizance growing among New Yorkers to minimize their food's carbon footprint.
And how are these health cafes and juice bars helping in reducing the food miles?
Many of these establishments are making extra efforts to source their ingredients locally or regionally. This not only reduces the food miles but also supports local farmers and promotes seasonal, fresh produce.
Truly, the cognizance towards healthier and sustainable eating habits is creating ripples in the food industry here in New York.
Indeed. And it's not just about eating right, but also about making choices that are beneficial for our community and environment. When we choose a dish at these health cafes or juice bars, we are going beyond just satisfying our palates. We are becoming part of a larger culture of mindful, sustainable eating.
Vivian, do you remember the tiny grocery store at the corner of our college?
Oh yes, it had the friendliest owner, Mr. Gonzalez. Fresh produce, homemade sauces. That store was a reflection of New York in miniaturized form.
Such small grocery stores or bodegas play an essential part in shaping the local food scene, don't they?
Definitely, Daniel. Like any other city, New York has its fair share of supermarkets. But it's these neighborhood markets with their rich history that add a unique flavor to the city's food scene.
Interesting. Can you share more about how these local markets influence our food habits?
Sure, Daniel. These markets act like small windows into the world of fresh and local produce. Many of them offer a variety of products that you wouldn't usually find in a chain supermarket, from exotic fruits and vegetables to locally produced cheese. It's like a gastronomical treasure hunt.
Oh, I love that term. Gastronomical treasure hunt. Also, I think these markets foster a greater sense of community, don't they?
You've got it, Daniel. These markets are often gathering places for local populations. Conversations that start over the banana stand or by the cheese counter often lead to connections that reach far beyond the walls of the store. Amidst the bustling city life, these small markets provide a unique connection to our food sources, making us remember that food is not just fuel, but a way of life.
If I may, Vivian, I've been a regular at the Union Square Green Market. It's an incredible place, isn't it?
Right, quite the lively spectacle. Union Square Green Market has perhaps carved out a unique space in New York's gastronomical landscape. It's got an amazing energy.
It does, and there's something about the shared experience of shuffling through seasonal produce, chatting with farmers, the smell of fresh bread, cheese, and herbs, that builds a connection.
Absolutely. I remember my mother would, on Sundays, take us to a similar market in Queens. We would pick out fresh vegetables, get some homemade cheeses. Suddenly, it was like the concrete jungle melted away, and we were in the heart of a farm. Sense of community was palpable.
Do you believe these farmers' markets also have a role in shaping our diet trends in New York?
It's likely, Daniel. These markets provide access to fresh, seasonal, and local produce. As people increasingly lean towards healthier and sustainable choices, their popularity has seen a massive surge. Today, they're not just markets. They're social events, a movement towards food sovereignty.
I'm especially fascinated by the story of the farmer coming to the city, bringing a piece of land in the midst of skyscrapers and traffic. It's kind of poetic?
It is. Amidst all the hustle, these farmers bring us closer to the earth and its rhythms. They pluck us away from our everyday monotonous life and, even if just momentarily, they anchor us. It's like a gastronomical roots reconnect. How do you see technology shaping the future of New York's food scene, Daniel?
Well, Vivian, technology is playing a massive role in revolutionizing the food industry, not just in New York, but across the world. In the simplest form, we can observe how tech has reinvented food delivery systems, from apps that give us a world of cuisine at our fingertips to drones delivering orders. It's an exciting journey.
There's a certain thrill in ordering food late at night when the city that never sleeps allows its residents to enjoy a lavish midnight feast. One tap and voila, your favorite pizza, Chinese, or bagels come knocking at your door. It's magical.
Right, food delivery systems are all about convenience. But emerging trends show the impact of tech is way deeper. Think robotic kitchens, digital restaurants that operate without on-site staff or customers, just cooking and delivering.
It's as if science fiction is coming to life. And then there's aeroponic farming cropping up around the city. Your thoughts, Daniel?
Urban farming in New York, it's a fascinating concept, Vivian. Vertical farms, rooftop gardens, hydroponic systems, they're stepping in to tackle space constraints and supply fresh, nutritious produce.
And the fact that this initiative can contribute to reducing the city's carbon footprint is equally commendable. We are seeing people turn towards a more sustainable approach.
Absolutely. As we are becoming more conscious about food miles, these innovations could be a game changer. From urban farming to tech-based delivery, the food scene is ready to embrace the future in all its glory.
Reflecting on all that we've uncovered today, it's clear that New York's cuisine tells the story of this diverse city. From the signature dishes that were born here to the flavors brought in by immigrants, the edible narrative here is a sum total of cultures, dreams, and aspiration.
Exactly, Vivian. The journey paints a vivid picture when you look at the street vendors hustling at food carts, the celebrity chefs creating magic in their kitchens, and the home cooks preserving their traditional recipes.
And we can't ignore the future, right, Daniel? Though we don't know exactly how it'll shape, it's clear that technology and sustainability concerns are driving new trends.
It's fascinating to see the evolution and the role technology is playing. The food scene here is innovative, adventurous, and constantly changing. Yet, amidst the quick-paced world of smart kitchens and food trucks are the sturdy threads of tradition that can never be overlooked.
These diverse influences, the people behind the dishes and the ever-transforming trends, are truly the factors shaping the love affair between New Yorkers and their food.
Definitely, Vivian. In the end, it all comes down to one thing. Food is a reflection of who we are, where we come from, and where we're going. New York's culinary scene is nothing but the embodiment of this fact.
Isn't it a testament to the spirit of the city itself? Just like its people, the food here is strong-willed, vibrant, and ever-evolving.
Spot on, Vivian. It's a love affair to cherish and celebrate. Each bite we shared today was like reading a page from New York's culinary diary.